Hello, welcome to Training Tuesday. It's, August 20th already, 11:30, and Pacific time that is. So let's see, where are you? Today we are going to talk about the sales reports. I sometimes am having a little bit of a challenge trying to figure out what else we should do these Training Tuesdays on. Y'all are not very helpful when we ask. So I asked our support reps, and they said that it would be good to have a video about the various sales reports, just explaining what they all are, what the columns mean. So let's get it done. There are a bunch of reports. So sales, obviously this stuff is going to populate if you use Ontraport to make sales in your business, right? So using Ontraport forms, those sales are going to get populated. Some of these will work if you use the API to post sales into your contacts history, which you can do. But if you use this system, you'll get all these reports populating automatically. So how you do this is you just go to the sales tab, go to the reports section here, and you'll find all these various reports. Actually, there's one here that is, I think is it the purchases, which is the same thing, I believe, as the, no, let's see what is, purchases. Okay, this is individual products purchased. So this is what happens if you click the sales tab, and then all the reports are down here as well. So here's the thing. The primary concept to understand in Ontraport sales is that there are three primary different sort of things you got to understand what they are. The first is a transaction. A transaction is basically when we hit a credit card for an amount, and that might be for one product. It might be for many products. It might contain products and shipping and tax, but ultimately that's a transaction, right? And the transaction either is accepted, approved or declined. And so you'll find the list of transactions in the transaction log, right? So that's pretty obvious. And what you'll see here is, in a second, you'll see these 5 items. I've just filtered it just like groups. You can always make groups, just like everywhere, you can make groups of transactions. So this is just, what is this group of name? The invoice, day created was before, or is on 1/9/19. That's weird. I just called it ASDF. I don't know why I did that. Let's just go back to all. So here's the transactions that have happened in this account. This is just a demo account, a bunch of dummy data, obviously. And what is it telling me? It's the date the transaction happened, the contact that it was for, the contact's email, the source, how, where this transaction came from, whether it was manual, like I typed it into the contact record, or whether it was from a form, and then the status, was it paid or declined? Written off, of course, means that somebody it was declined, went into collections, went through your entire collections process, and at the end of that collections process, it gets written off. So this is the amount attempted, this is the amount paid, the amount declined, the amount refunded, all sorts of different things that are pretty self-explanatory about these transactions. The commissions paid on the transaction, the taxes collected, the net amount, which would be the after commissions, shipping, and taxes. Notice you can always add more columns here. We've got, you can drive into these things. So the invoice, you can drive into the invoice and look at, shoot all the different things, the gateway that it was on, the credit card that it was on, all sorts of stuff you can add to this thing if you want to. But ultimately what we have here is a list of attempts on the credit card, right? And of course you can create a group if you want to just see the stuff that was paid. You would just add new group and say paid, and then add a condition, and that would be the status, right? So a status. Oh, you got to go to the invoice. The invoice, drive into that. Status equal to paid, and then of course you can make different groups for all these other ones here. See where those are, and then you just see all the paid transactions there. And then you've got totals at the top too. So we've got 11 items here, total attempted, total paid, there it all is. Okay, so that's what transactions are. Now, inside of a transaction, there is going to be one or more products. And so the product sales log is similar to transaction, but it breaks out the individual products. So you sold, one transaction might have 4 products. So, this thing would be, this shows a log of each individual product that was sold. It's important that we have that because you can drive a lot of automation based on not just the whole transaction, but what was in that transaction, what products were purchased or not purchased, right? When a product was purchased, then you can trigger something in a campaign and follow up, deliver the product, whatever it is you might want to do. If a particular product was declined, you might want to manage that. So we have a log for you of all the individual products that were purchased. And again, you can make groups of this stuff, product name, whether it was successful or not. So you can just sift and sort this stuff. Of course, you can just search too. 42 cats. I want to see just all the stuff, all the purchases of this particular product called 42 cats, and here they all are. So that's what you'll find in the product sales log. And again, just take a look. This is a good time to know how to use collections in general. You can organize your columns here. You can drag stuff around. You can add different columns to your collections here, the commissions, and then you can dive into particular related records. So this is a particular product. You can go in here and look at the price of that product or whatever it might be. So so if you don't know, if you're not real familiar with how to use collections, there's a video in the unit section here on Facebook and on YouTube about everything you need to know about collections. Definitely worth a watch because they're all over this app. And if you don't know how to use them, you will be missing out. So that is what the product sales logs are. Now, the third piece that you want to know, we've got transactions. That's an attempt on a credit card. A product purchase is a log of an actual individual product purchase. And then an open order is the other concept that you want to make sure you understand. So an open order is basically a standing order that's not yet completed. And it will be either an ongoing subscription to a product that continues to go forever until it's canceled, or it'll be a payment plan that isn't completed yet. So maybe it's a 6 installment payment plan and you have 3 installments done. So that's going to live as an open order and that'll continue to live there until it's completed, and then it will not be an open order anymore. So we have this open order collection here that will show you the open orders that you currently have going on in your account. And so what do you see here? The contact, and remember that this little guy right here, that you see when I hover over it, that takes you to the contact. So I can hold Control down and open that in a new tab, or I can just click it and it'll open. It'll go there. So I can go see this contact, but it'll tell me the next payment account, the products that are in there, the next payment date, the sign up date, the type of open order it is, whether it's a subscription or a payment plan, and of course I can add a bunch of other columns on here too. Well, let's see. Actually, that's about all the columns that you can add on there. Okay, good. So that's what open orders are, and again, you can just you can dive into here and go. I can go click to this contact and go find. Let's see, where do I have purchases? And there's a collection of open orders somewhere in here. Again, this is my subscriptions and payment plans is what it's called here. That's odd. But then you can click this thing, edit the order, and see what's in here. 42 cats, $10 a month, blah, blah, blah. And you can edit it there if you want to. Okay, and that is what open orders are. So open orders are ongoing orders that are going to charge the card in the future, right? And so that's 3 of these little reports right there. Now, what else do we have? All-time sales report by product. So you go into the sales tab, and this is just going to list out every product that you've got, and it's going to tell you everything that you've purchased, or all the purchases that have been made of that particular product. So remembering that products can be sold at various prices, this now tells you what the average unit price is. So sometimes you sold 42 cats for more money. Sometimes you sold them for less money because, you know, I don't know, they're cuter or less cute. And so this is the average unit price of the 7, 42 cat bags that you've sold. This is the amount attempted. This is the amount that were actually paid. So some of them were declined or refunded. Notice that you'd expect to see something declined in here because these two numbers don't match. I seem to be about $110 off. That's just because I've got, this is a demo account and this data is all wonky, but normally you would see what the difference between attempted and paid is here in these other columns. So declined, refunded, oh, here it is right here, it was refunded. So we attempted it all, paid, and then refunded. There it actually is, that's good. And then voided, commissions paid on this stuff. And let's see, what else can we see here? The taxes that we collected, the net amount, and there's probably some other columns we can look at here, average unit price, quantity, product name. Okay, so that basically shows you what you've sold of each product over time. Then let's go back to reports again. What else do we have? Subscription sales. So this is a list of products that were sold as a subscription. Now, you can take a product, in this case, 42 cats, and you can sell it once, right? And then that would not be a subscription. But if you go into your order form and you say, make this a subscription, and then you sell it as a subscription, it's going to show up here. You've got new buyers, want open orders for this 42 cats. There's one. This person hasn't canceled. And you can see how many have been attempted. One of the transactions was refunded, and there's all the information you have about the open orders, the sales on subscription of these particular products. So that's interesting. You can see total subscription sales, stuff like that. In here, let's see if there's anything else that's interesting or at all confusing. It doesn't seem like it, all pretty standard stuff. So, okay, that's your subscription sales. Product sales log we already talked about. Shipping collected, of course, is just going to tell you about the transactions that had shipping. And here's the transaction ID. You can probably put the contact, let's see, what happens if transaction ID is here. You can see the shipping name, UPS, and basically how much shipping was declined, how much shipping was collected, whether it was declined, voided, refunded, and there you go. You have a list of transactions that had shipping collected. You can learn all about it. Next, we have open orders. We talked about that. Subscriber retention. Okay, so this is, remember we just looked at subscriber sales. So this is a report that tells you a little bit about how your subscriptions are doing over time. So anything that you sell on a subscription will end up also showing up in this particular report. And what this is going to show you is basically how long people are sticking around on your subscription on average. So 42 cats, one open order, one is still current. The average days that this person was subscribed is 150. Total revenue, $50. Other total revenue. So other total revenue is going to be the revenue that comes from the customers that are also subscribed to this particular product. So it's going to give you a sense of the total value of these customers, right? So the average value, and this is related as well. So you can see the average value of this subscription purchase is $50 for these 42 cats, but the average customer value is $60 because they bought $10 worth of other stuff as well. So it's good to have a sense of what people are buying on subscription, but then also what the total value of those customers are, because of upsells or cross sells or whatever else it is they may be buying from you. So that's just giving you a sense of how you're doing on your subscriptions. Average days subscribed, total revenue, total other revenue, new open orders. Yeah, so this is basically all the columns are there. So that's what that's showing you is just how you're doing on a per product basis in terms of your subscriptions. Transactions logs we already talked about. Customer value. So this is going to tell you on a per customer basis how valuable each particular customer is. So it's the contact name, it's their email address, and then you can get in here and and look at how much they paid last month, how much they paid all time, how much their current open orders are, and that's about it basically. So it tells you what the value of your individual customers are. So that's pretty cool because you can sort by these and see like, okay, this is my most valuable customer of all time. This is my most valuable customer last month. Currently open orders, this is my customer with the highest current open order value, right? They're paying the most for subscriptions right now. You can sort these, again, sift them out using groups and drill into your customers. And then lastly, taxes collected, just like the, I don't have any taxes collected here, but it's just like the shipping collected. Just going to basically tell you every transaction that has taxes and where it came from, what the tax is, the tax name, so that then you can go, pay your taxes on those reports. Or on those sales rather. So that is basically the long and short of it. If you have any questions, definitely let us know, but I think that most of this is pretty self-explanatory once you understand the three concepts, which are transactions, product sales, and open orders. It's important to understand the difference between those three things. And then I think once you do, this pretty much makes sense. But as always, if you have questions, post them here in the thread underneath this video, or our support team is always available to help. Thanks for watching. We'll check you next week. And hey, don't forget, let me know what you're interested in learning about. I've covered a lot of topics in these Training Tuesdays. Starting to run out of ammo here. Hit us up on the post. We usually post every week asking for topics, and you usually post not very much. All right, so we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Take care.